Hello students, in today's video, let us understand about the geocentric model proposed by Ptolemy. Ptolemy was an astronomer, philosopher and scientist who lived in the Alexandria in the Roman Empire in the AD 1st century. So maybe you have heard about him, and he proposed this geocentric model of universe, and he laid down various observations and supported these observations based on a variety of scientific facts. So in the last class we were seeing about geocentric model in which the earth is the center of the universe. So one of the holistic theory that supported this assumption of geocentric model is the Ptolemy's theory. So in this class, let us understand about the geocentric model of Ptolemy and how he tried to explain various motion of planets, sun and stars. So in this model, the universe is assumed, in this model of universe, it is assumed that the earth is stationary and is at the center of the universe. Now we know this assumption is entirely wrong, but then it was thought that earth is the center of the universe. So that is why we call it the geocentric model. Now the main features of this model proposed by Ptolemy are the moon, Mercury, Venus, Sun, Mars, Jupiter and Saturn are all planets that move around the earth. So as you can see here, earth is situated at the center, which is stationary, and all other planets including moon and sun are moving around the earth. So the infinite stars are placed at the end of these planets. And all stars are supposed to be fixed on a huge sphere called celestial sphere. And the radius of the celestial sphere was supposed to be around 20,000 kilometers, which is very large than the radius of the earth. So these are the basic concepts that he proposed. Now all planets move in orbits which are either circles or combination of circles. So we saw that plenty of philosophers preferred this shape of circle because it was thought that it is the most perfect shape, most aesthetically appealing shape, and circle was defined as the trajectory of planets. Each planet moves along a circular path called epicycle, the center of which revolves around the earth along a circular path called deferent. So as you can see here, the planets are not just moving right through a circular path. So there are two circular paths here. One is the epicycle. So each planet will be moving first along the epicycle, and this epicycle will be moving through a circular path called deferent. So let us watch the motion of planets through these two combinations of circular paths. One is the epicycle and the second one is deferent. So as you can see here, this video from the YouTube gives you an accurate description of the motion of planets. So you can see two motions here. One is planets are going through a circle called epicycle. So you can see here this circle here. It is the epicycle, and that circle is following the motion around another big circle, and that circle is called deferent. So the center of the deferent circle is earth. Epicycle will be moving along another path. That is also a circular path. So you can watch the motion of planets according to the Ptolemy's model here in this video. Now let us move on with the other points. Ptolemy proposed that the path center is displaced from the earth. This is called the eccentricity of the orbit. So as you can see here we have two circles. The first circle is the epicycle, and the epicycle follows another circular path which is the deferent. And we actually think that earth is at the center of the deferent, but Ptolemy proposed that the earth is slightly displaced from the center of the deferent circle, and that is defined as the eccentricity of the orbit. And he also argued that the planet's angular velocity is fastest at the perigee and slowest at the apogee. Since Earth is not at the center, we can define two extreme points. One is called perigee. Perigee is the closest point to the Earth in this path of the planet. And another point is apogee. Apogee is the farthest point of the planet from the Earth. So we have 2 points here, apogee and perigee. And the planet will have maximum angular velocity at the point of perigee, and they will move in a slow fashion at the apogee. So this was another observation and proposal made by Ptolemy. And it was observed that stars move from east to west. This was explained by assuming that the celestial sphere along the fixed stars rotate from east to west. And the planets generally appear to move from west to east relative to the stars. Sometimes planets move in the opposite direction, and which was explained as retrograde motion. And Ptolemy explained this by the concept of epicycle. So let us understand these concepts more. We have said that Earth is at the center and planets surround the Earth in the geocentric model of Ptolemy, which is called the celestial sphere. And he said that this sphere is under motion from east to west. So that is why the planets are seen to rotate from east to west, because the celestial sphere itself is moving from east to west, and hence planets will be moving from east to west. And sometimes the planets showed an opposite motion from west to east, and that was explained as retrograde motion. So you can see here, if planets are thought to be moving in epicycles, you can see sometimes the planet will be moving backwards and sometimes the planet will be moving forwards, right? So in this motion, there is a backward and a forward motion. And this was used to explain the retrograde motion of planets. That means sometimes the planets moving in the opposite direction. And it was also observed that planets generally move from west to east, which is opposite to the direction of the motion of the celestial sphere. So the concept of epicycle and deferent circle was used to explain this opposing motion of planets. And Ptolemy also proposed that heavenly bodies were attached to unseen transparent solid spheres placed between spherical shells surrounding the Earth. He observed that if we represent all known planets by spheres, he could arrange them inside one another. So you can see here, suppose if this is Earth, you can arrange all the planets in various spherical shells according to their distance. So that was another proposal made by Ptolemy. You can see it here. Earth is at the center, and on different shells he could arrange different planets, and each shell is at different motion. And that is about different proposals made by Ptolemy. So you know that this theory is not actually correct now. Geocentric model is totally not right. Sun is at the center of the solar system, and solar system is not at the center of the Milky Way or the universe. But even then, this was based on some sound observations and principles at that time. At the 1st century AD, based on minimum observations and possibilities, Ptolemy was able to formulate this theory. And even then, there were some contradictions with regard to this theory. Even the Europeans started to forget this Ptolemy's theory. It was mainly by Arabs who used the Ptolemy's theory to further propagate the geocentric model. Arabs used this theory. But even in India, we had very good astronomers who used to observe and find even more accurate theories. Maybe you know about Aryabhata, the Indian scientist and astronomer. He even said that the Earth is moving and Earth is not stationary. So you can see that at that time, that must have been a very important important finding. So you can see that great Indian scientists like Aryabhata had actually contributed to an accurate theory about the universe and its model at the ancient time itself. So I hope this model of Ptolemy is clear for you. This is important from the perspective of growth of science, how the current theories evolved from the earlier existing theories. I hope this portion is clear for you. Thank you.